welcome back to Talk About Strange. Today's Friday. You guys ready for the weekend? I know I am. I just wanted to let you know we got a very important message in. This came from Anna. She's one of the girls that Wendy made contact with Wendy. I'm not entirely sure of all the details of how that all panned out, but this is a message, one we've been really anxiously waiting for. It opens up, Claire has something to say to us, and then it goes on to Anna's story. I want to warn you ahead of time. It's sensitive. It's a sensitive, and I don't mean, cry sensitive. Well, maybe some of it, but it's a sensitive topic, as we already know from what's been going on. She actually titled this, "I Was a Bigfoot Sex Slave." So take with it what you will. So I just wanted to give you that warning ahead of time that, and she doesn't get into graphic details, so don't worry about that, all right? But she just, it's tough. Anyway, I don't have a lot of updates for you. We're doing really well. Things are cranking right along. I appreciate you guys so very much. Let's keep the momentum going. We're doing great. I appreciate all the friendly comments and stuff and all the support that you guys have been giving me and the channel and all the people that contribute to the channel. We've had some great Bigfoot stories come through, so that's been kind of fun, right? And now we got another one, and we're going to see where we go from here. So let's go ahead and get started right into it. Steve, hello, this is Claire. Hello, Claire. I hope you and your TAS family are all doing well. I have a message I want to send to you from one of our girls. Her name is Anna. I have been working closely with her, not just on a psychiatric side, but more of a friendship side. She is amazing. Her ordeal was horrifying, so it has been difficult for her to talk about it. We are all still working very closely with the other girl. Her name is Tommy. She is going to be a lot better. She's doing a lot better. But her ordeal was not just terrifying, it was life-threatening. Unfortunately, she has a long road ahead of her. I know she will be okay. It's going to take time. I will let Anna explain more about that. As for my mom and I, we have some updates for you, but I'm going to send them to you in a separate email. This is about Anna and Tommy, and I don't want it to take away from that. Again, Steve, thank you so very much for being here and giving us all the support and communication and help for each other and everybody else. To our TAS family, thank you so very much. You are amazing. Keep up the good work. Claire. Okay, here we go. Thank you for that, Claire. Hello, Steve. My name is Anna. I wanted to say thank you for all that you are doing. Wendy and Claire are absolutely amazing, and I wouldn't have found them if not for your platform. They speak very highly of you and your TAS family, as you call them. If I ever get a computer, maybe I will find your platform. Okay, so here it is. I will do my absolute best to explain my story while maintaining certain information for safety. Claire is writing this for me because I haven't written a letter or typed a word in years. As Wendy and Claire have already explained to you, there are two clans, as they call them, that live out there on Prince of Wales Island. I have other names for them, but out of respect for Claire and her family, I won't use them. There's a lot more happening out there than people know, and like Wendy and Claire said, it is very dangerous. More dangerous than Tommy and I ever really knew. We were held as slaves out there for over 10 years. Please let me explain how this happened. Oh boy. Tommy and I are both first Alaskan. We met at a festival when we were in our early teens. We connected in so many ways. At first, we were just very close friends, but something happened and it turned into more than that. We both realized that we had fallen in love with each other, and so we became a couple. In case you haven't caught on, we are both girls. When we told our families, they were very upset and tried hard to separate us, but our bond was too strong. Eventually, we decided to leave. Tommy had just turned 17 and I was 18. We told our parents if they couldn't accept us, that we would leave. We wanted to be together and no one was going to stop us. So we both got jobs in an apartment. 2 years passed with very little communication from our family and old friends. Tommy loved photography, and on her birthday I bought her a really nice Canon camera and a used but really good camera bag with lenses. She wanted to go out to get some photos of wildlife and such. I suggested Prince of Wales Island because I knew how beautiful and remote it was, and we wouldn't have to worry about other people judging us. It was just supposed to be a romantic trip. We didn't tell anyone where we were going. We took the ferry boat to get there on the island. When we got there, we found the people that we had rented a room from. I guess you could call it a bed and breakfast without the breakfast. It was just a room in someone's house. They were a nice elderly couple. I told them we were sisters. They told us it was a bad idea to wander out in the forest for pictures or anything. That it's too dangerous. We thought they were pulling our legs or being overprotective. We wasn't scared. I felt I knew how to take care of myself, and Tommy had a big knife with her anyway. But that wouldn't do any good. The next day we set out. It was very rainy, but not too bad. We brought a compass, tent, and food for the night, just in case we wanted to camp out. We followed some old trails out, trying to stay close to the shoreline so we could find our way back just in case. Tommy was getting some beautiful pics. At least I think they would have been, as we never got a chance to develop them. We found a spot near the water and camped out for the night. It was quiet, all the regular sounds of bugs and frogs and stuff like that. The next morning we got up and headed back out. This time we were planning on working our way back towards town. We really still wanted to find some wildlife and birds. We were so taken in by the beauty that we walked and laughed and talked. Then we realized the time had started to get a little bit concerned that we were in the wrong direction. We should have reached town by then. There was so much tree coverage you could hardly see to follow the sun, not to mention it was cloudy and rainy. We tried to use our compass, but it was all over the place. For some reason, it wouldn't give us a true direction. We tried until night and ended up having to stay in the forest. We figured in the morning we would get back on course. We didn't have a fire or anything like that, so we turned in early. I remember laying in a tent holding each other, not knowing it would be the last happy moments we would have together. Tommy had her arm around me. I was smiling and listening to the sounds of nature, like frogs, bugs, raindrops hitting the tent from the tops of the trees, and stuff like that. I heard twigs snapping now and then. I figured it was just deer or wildlife or something. Then all at once it got super quiet. I remember thinking it was so weird. How could it be so quiet? I even tried to clear my ears. Tommy was sleeping, so I woke her up and told her to listen. She said, "Listen to what?" I said, "Do you hear how quiet it is?" She said, "Yeah," and thought it was weird too. All of a sudden, we heard heavy footsteps outside of our tent all around us. We started hearing branches breaking and was afraid there was a bear around us. We had no real weapons, just Tommy's knife. We tried to sit quietly, hoping it would move on, but then something shook our tent. I started crying. Tommy told me to relax and just stay quiet. But it got worse as rocks or something started hitting the tent and bouncing off, and the noises got louder and louder. At one point, I let out half a scream because I was startled. Tommy started hollering, "Get out of here." We realized at this point it wasn't a bear. She hollered out, "I have a weapon and I'm not afraid to use it." And I don't think they cared. We both started feeling really sick to our stomachs and had really bad headaches. I threw up from it. My ears were ringing so bad I couldn't hardly hear Tommy. We couldn't figure out what was going on. Wendy and Claire explained to us something called infrasound. They use it to cripple their victims. I hate to think about how many times they use that on us. All of a sudden, our tent got ripped wide open. That's the first time I seen them. But it was dark and my vision was blurry. They just looked like giant black blobs to me. It was standing over us. I screamed and wanted to run, but my head was spinning. He grabbed Tommy's arm. Tommy was holding me. I guess at this point, I passed out. When I woke up, we were in a cage made of small trees. I had no idea where we were, but it turned out to be their base camp. This is where we spent a good part of the next 10 years. They have more than one base camp. Every few weeks, they would move us from one camp to another and circle back around so as never be in the same place too long. Through the whole time, Tommy and I were kept in cages. We had been there a week the first time it happened. They had given us fruits and berries, fish, water, things to keep us fed. We didn't understand why they were keeping us alive. We thought they were going to kill us and eat us or something like that. We wasn't alone, though. They had other cages that they had kept women in. Some of them were covered in hair. I realized after a while they were half-breeds and why they were keeping us. One at a time, they took us out into the woods and assaulted us, putting it politely, being careful not to kill us. We soon realized they were mating with us to make more of them. Eventually, we ended up pregnant and carried their babies. If the babies died, they just took them someplace and threw them away and started again. Wow. When we birthed a baby that would live, usually a female, the other females would raise her. If they became disorderly, they would put them in cages as well and mate with them as well. Eventually, they would breed the human gene out of these females and they would give birth to what appeared to be full-blooded clanswomen who were able to give birth to full-blooded male clansmen babies. It seems that none of us were able to produce living male babies. Sometimes the women would die giving birth or just get sick and die. They just took them off somewhere and disposed of them like they were nothing, just another day. We tried several times to escape, but we were punished when we did. One girl escaped and was killed in front of us as an example. I won't tell you how, it's too horrible. They were very hard on Tommy. She was stronger than me, and so they treated her rougher. I think they liked that she was strong, and they thought that she would breed stronger babies for them. She always tried to protect me from them by getting in the way when they came in for me. We slowly escaped our fate. We slowly accepted our fate, and I often prayed for death. But little by little, we befriended some of the half-breed women and learned a bit about their language communication. One of the older women told us before she died that she had been there for a very long time. She explained to us that it was once one big tribe of them, and something happened. When they split, this tribe was only half the size of the other tribe. So they began finding and taking women to populate their group so they could become bigger and more powerful than the other group. She said the other group is peaceful and respectful of the land and people, but this group is very aggressive and war-minded. In case you didn't hear that, I said war. I had a hard time with that word. War-minded. They wanted to overthrow the other group and control the island. Something was different when she died. I actually think they grew to like her. It's hard to explain, but it was different. Tommy and I were the last human females. I was not carrying when it happened. Tommy was. She gave birth to another baby girl and was bleeding very bad. I thought she was dead because they carried her off and disposed of her like they did the other ones. I was alone and crying when one of the half-breed women we grew close with came over and unlatched my cage while the leaders were gone and pointed to go. For some reason, she gave me a chance to escape, and I took it. But instead of leaving, I went and looked for Tommy and found her down in a shallow ravine. They threw her down there and left her for dead. There were other bones scattered around. We could tell they had been picked over by animals. I was crying and holding her when I realized she was still breathing. I got her up with her arm around my neck, and we just started walking out. I was so terrified they were going to chase us down and kill us. But nobody came. After 3 days of walking, I was completely exhausted. I know Tommy was hanging on by a thread, looking around for berries, bugs, grubs, anything to eat to get our strength up and continue. I was getting ready to help Tommy up when I heard footsteps approaching us. We hid behind a big moss-covered log. I knew if it was them, hiding would do no good. They could find us. These creatures are professional trackers. They can smell and hear your heartbeat from a mile away. I cautiously kept peeking up and realized it was a man, and he was hiking. He had a backpack and a rifle over his shoulder. I told Tommy to stay while I staggered out where he would see me. I couldn't even ask for help. I just raised my hand up and he seen me. He dropped his stuff and ran over to me. Can you imagine what he must have thought, seeing these two filthy, bony, naked girls out there in the middle of the forest? But he was a perfect gentleman. He quickly wrapped his coat around me, and then when he seen Tommy, he took out a blanket from his backpack and wrapped it around her. He brought us to his cabin, gave us food, fresh water, and had an outdoor shower that he put warm water in and let us get our first shower we've had in years. He had us stay there and went to get help. He returned with a native Alaskan doctor he was friends with. He said by all rights, Tommy should have been dead. We were both very malnourished and sick. He treated us for parasites and several injuries. Tommy was the worst from when they dropped her down in the gully. She got banged up pretty bad and her insides were in rough shape from the delivery. She had lost a lot of blood and was mentally shut down or in shock. It had taken a very long time to get her to even speak, but she is talking now and mending. This is largely because of Wendy and Claire. I eventually spoke with the first Alaskan game warden. He said we were lucky to get out alive. They are aware of these creatures taking people, but haven't been able to do anything about it, except for warn people to stay out of the certain areas of the forest. He said they would look into it and get back to me, but he never did. I wonder why. It's like I told Claire and Wendy, there's a war coming between the two clans, and I wouldn't want to be caught in the middle of it. I don't know if the other clan knows what's coming. I only hope we can warn them on time. I don't know what else to tell you right now. Claire explained that the messages can't be too long. I'm sure that Wendy and Claire will update you soon. I hope my story will help others out there somewhere. Oh, there is one part I would like to add. We have contacted our family and let them know we are alive. They are still very upset with us, but willing to talk about it. Anna and Claire. Wow. Anna, if Claire, Wendy, they show you this. I am so sorry to hear what you guys went through. I mean, so you were out there for over 10 years. You were in your teens, 2 years, 18, 20, you were maybe 20. I figure when you were taken, put you in your early 30s now. I just want you to know you got a lot of life ahead of you still. It's going to be tough, and it's going to be, you're obviously never going to forget this or get over it. But I think you got a lot of time to mend, and I really hope and pray that you and Tommy can regroup and continue your lives and get past all of this. I mean, it's absolutely horrible. But it sounds like you were both very strong. You had to be strong to live through all that. And geez, I don't even know what to say, about all that. That's incredible. I mean, but we've heard about this stuff happening, I've watched some other channels that have talked about this stuff that's been going on for centuries. And it's just hard to believe that it's still happening, and there's good and bad. And I guess I can only hope if there is a clash that the good prevails and they get through this. So without too many of them getting injured or whatever. But, I watched a documentary here not too long ago, speaking in the primate aspect, some horrible, vicious wars that they have. And it's brutal. I mean, it's brutal. So boy, that's a scary, scary thought. So, yeah, I'd be very interested in knowing more. And if Tommy wants to share, we'll listen. We want to hear it. If you have anything else, as you're mending and moving along, that you want to share with us, please do. Claire, thank you so very much for helping her get this to us. We really appreciate it. And we're going to look forward to your updates. So, we're waiting for that anxiously. And tell everybody we said hello, and we're rooting for you. Thank you so much for what you're doing. So that's it for today. You guys enjoy your Friday. Have a great weekend. I'll see if I can get some more out to you. If Claire happens to get anything to me, I'll fire it up and I'll get that out to you. I got some other stories that came in that I've been trying to get to, so I'll get to them soon. Other than that, you guys have, like I said, have a phenomenal weekend. Thank you for stopping by, and I will see you again really soon.